Hey gamers, I'm Amos McCandless and welcome back to the Guerrilla Report. Grab your capes, clip on your utility belts, and don't forget your bat shark repellent, because this week we're roaming around the dingy corridors of Arkham Asylum with Gotham's own Dark Knight. DC Comics has tried countless attempts over the years to make what is arguably their greatest comic book moneymaker into a video game star as well. And it took the comic book juggernaut 16 years from the first ever Batman game in '89 to make a game worth picking off the clearance rack. However, with the moderate success of the Batman Begins spin-off video game from a few years ago, DC finally laid down a rough blueprint of what to expect in Batman games to come. Which brings us to Arkham Asylum. It's cliche to say that Batman Arkham Asylum is the game comic book fans have been waiting for, but in this case it's completely true. Arkham Asylum personifies Batman's character to the T, whether it be through incorporating elements of stealth, puzzle solving, and riveting fight scenes, or through including various villains from Batman's endless rogue gallery. We noticed that Arkham Asylum had no problem with delivering great gameplay to suit the dark hero behind it all. The story is captivating in the fact that it's another classic battle of wits between Batman and his arch-nemesis, the Joker. Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill reprised their roles from Batman the Animated Series in this game, and witnessing these iconic characters make a comeback was all the more enthralling as a gamer. Another aspect that makes the story so much more impressive is that it's not adapted from a movie or previous television series, but rather used good old-fashioned comic books as the game's main influence. This adds a neat dynamic to the game where old-school fans of the Caped Crusader will find themselves becoming ever more immersed in the storyline. If the voice acting, stealthy gameplay, and boosted graphics aren't enough for you, then perhaps the RPG-esque upgrades this game has to offer will put you over the edge. Batman Arkham Asylum allows you to purchase new items for your character, which can range anywhere from remote control batarangs to new combat abilities such as inverted takedowns and explosive gels. Or if you're the kind of guy who spends his Sunday afternoons playing Sudoku and wasting his life away on crossword puzzles, you can take a break from the main campaign and test your wits on the Riddler's Challenge. This new feature supplies gamers with optional riddles to solve for each wing of the Arkham Asylum building. As for other challenges, this game offers a kind of crappy horde mode where you can fight off enemies within a series of timed rounds. Though we enjoyed the former more than the latter, these two qualities made the game a lot more enjoyable and a lot more worth its hefty price tag. Another aspect of this game that will be more enjoyable to fanboys and casual gamers alike will be the game's impressive combat system. The guys over at Rocksteady decided they weren't going to take the easy way out and make this Batman game just another button masher, so they constructed the fight sequences in a way that won't allow any spastic 8-year-old to be a master of Batman's arsenal of martial arts skills and high-tech bat gadgets. For instance, constantly pressing the B button won't knock those Joker thugs unconscious. It will just stun them for a few moments, forcing you to engage in an actually strategic fight sequence. In other words, the game forces you to learn the combat system and pushes you to learn different combos to use in your enemies for quicker kills. Though like any good game, there is a short laundry list of faults as well. For instance, we weren't too impressed with the minor characters such as thugs, policemen, and doctors, all sharing similar facial features, or in some cases the exact same facial features. To put it shortly, all of the enemies look pretty much exactly the same, making the game a bit repetitive. This was a bit of a turnoff considering that it isn't exactly something hard to fix, but somehow wasn't thought to be a matter of importance on Rocksteady's end of the stick. Also, the characters, including Batman, are very robot-like in speech. There's little to no expression on the characters' faces, which again is annoying because there have been plenty of games in the past that have found a way to fix this problem before it hit shelves. However, the #1 gripe we here at Guerrilla had with Arkham Asylum is the fact that characters such as Mr. Zsasz and Killer Croc found a way to make it into the game, but somehow characters such as Nightwing, Mr. Freeze, or Robin didn't. Just a quick scene with either Dick Grayson or Tim Drake involved would have made comic book nerds worldwide scream out in joy. Overall, this game is quite impressive and will please pretty much all gamers. Occasionally we have the problem with the fact that this type of gameplay is essentially Splinter Cell without the guns, but at the same time we love the original storyline that this first ever awesome Batman game brought to the table. So just to recap, we loved how this game made you think a lot like Batman. You had to learn to solve riddles and puzzles, and this makes for a very immersive single-player mode. Also, the bosses were pretty cool, and with so many different villains, Rocksteady found a way to make unique level areas to fit the personalities of all your upcoming enemies. On the other side, however, we were really turned off by the fact there were plenty of iconic Batman comic book characters that were simply ignored in this game, yet at the same time the unknown jobbers of the series, such as Mr. Zsasz, made the cut. Also, though it was cool that the game attempted to include a horde/Nazi zombie-esque challenge mode, this really came through shoddy and wasn't as polished as it could have been. Our verdict? This game is the best Batman game to have ever been released, period. And though there may have been a few annoyances scattered along the way, we consider this to be one of the best games of the summer.
I think he's talking about you, Bats. Don't be a stranger. You're always welcome here. Gotta say, it's good to be back.
Overall, Batman Arkham Asylum is a total package in terms of a Batman game. There are elements of stealth, high-tech gadgets, one hell of a combat system, and Batman's impressive list of bad guys. The game personifies the world that is Batman and everything that goes into it. After 20 years of Batman games being attempted, there is finally a solid game that will hopefully revive the Batman game franchise and lead to more sequels after Arkham Asylum. Here at Guerrilla, we decide that Batman Arkham Asylum deserves a solid 9.2 out of 10. That just about wraps up this edition of the Guerrilla Report. I'm Amos McCandless reporting to you from the front lines of gaming.